Hi everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma, your host, and today we have Chanel Shaba with Beyond Lending, the founder and the creator and the mind and the brains and the creativity and all that behind it, right?
Thank you, yes.
Why don't you start off by telling us how you got started, why you got started, and where you got the name from.
Great. So I have been in the financial industry for over a decade. I worked for Chase, worked for Huntington, worked for big retailers, and then I realized relationship-based business is really for me.
Yep.
So right before COVID, I actually stepped out of the retail world and decided to become a broker and kind of offer more opportunity and more services to my clients and my realtors. And during COVID, I opened up a brokerage, which was a very hard thing to do. But here we are now. The name Beyond, it actually, oddly enough, it came from my nephew, who was obsessed with Buzz Lightyear. So he would run around the house saying above and be, he couldn't say the whole word. So then we would follow him and say Beyond, Beyond. And then I was like, that's a cool name. And then my mom was like, you should name your company Beyond.
That's very cool. I used to see you in the Daxton lobby with your laptop kind of banging away. I think that's where you kind of got started, right? So
before I had the Beyond Lending space, I was working remotely at the Daxton.
Okay.
Which was great because, I'm sitting there I had a few friends with me. We'd sit in the lobby, eat, drink. It was a great, it was a great year and a half.
Did you get work done?
I did. And it was funny because I would be making calls to clients while I'm sitting at the desk, and then people are like, what is she doing? I'm like, I'm just working. I'm so sorry.
Give me another gin and tonic.
Literally.
Make yourself useful. So, you got into it, your nephew named it. What about your team? How did you pick your team?
Great question. So a lot has gone into who we decided to put into the Beyond team. I hold myself accountable for a lot of things. So I wanted to make sure that whoever is on our team is also, treating their business the same way that I treat my business, right? Yeah. It's not my company, it's our company. We all work together, and we all work very fluidly together. So I started and I hired actually my best friend. She ran a Chase branch in West Bloomfield for 10 years. She was a branch manager. Okay. I hired her in to handle all my back end and all my processing stuff. That's Natalie. She's literally my A1, she's amazing. We did hire in a few loan officers at first, and just with the hurdles of a new business, it didn't work out for the best. But then as we continued to grow and we decided, we really want people who are a little bit more seasoned in the industry, people who already have relationships. So our ideal candidate
What do you mean by relationship?
Someone who is not a dialer, who's always on the phone, someone who's not a call center loan officer, someone who has relationships with realtors or has a really good sphere of influence, right? Because with that, instead of us, sitting and dialing out numbers all day long, instead we're networking, we're building relationships, you're building a core for yourself where from there, people aren't shopping you as much. Investing so much into leads where now your competition is unlimited because there's so many other mortgage companies out there.
Right.
So what we were looking for are loan officers who, again, are seasoned, so they're pretty much veterans in the industry, and then have a realtor network that they already work with.
Gotcha.
We're a purchase-based model.
Yep.
So I know in Michigan there's a ton of mortgage companies, right?
I think that's everywhere.
I know.
I don't think it's just strictly a Michigan thing. It's just that we're here and we notice it more.
Yeah, well, we have Rocket Mortgage, right? Yep. We have UWM. So we have two of the biggest wholesale competitors in the country here locally. Yeah. So naturally, you're going to find more of these shops in the local area. What we wanted to do is, we wanted to craft it into a relationship-based business where I don't have 100 loan officers. Right now I have a team of 10.
Okay.
And do
you want to shout some of them out?
Yeah. So we have Jumana Yusuf. We have, of course, Natalie Situr, processor. We have Emil Kogan, who is actually a builder and a realtor too. Oh, We have Lance Shaba, former police officer, and he's also a realtor and loan officer now. Steven Sulaka, Frank Bueno, speaks Hispanic and, of course, English, or Spanish, excuse me, and English. Sal Nissan, he's also he speaks Arabic and English too. And then we have somebody new. I can't disclose his name yet.
Was Sal on our show here?
Oh yes, Sal.
Yeah.
Sal also does our commercial lending.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Sal is with SK Kashola Capital.
Yep.
And he does the residential stuff with me.
I got you.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
cool.
So we work alongside each other for a lot of stuff.
Great asset to have in the
it
company.
really is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was our goal. Our goal was to make sure that, everyone has their uniqueness to bring to the team. Like for instance, Jumana is absolutely amazing with social media. Like, should she not be here? I don't know what I would do, right? Natalie is absolutely amazing with all my back end stuff and paperwork. Same thing, like she handles a lot of that stuff. And then when I have the other loan officers who some of them are realtors, builders, SK and Sal both do the commercial stuff. So like we have a very unique group, but it all comes together pretty well.
So talking about your team, what kind of person that might be watching this would be a good fit for your company? We're open to everybody. Okay. But we really enjoy the relationship-based culture, right? So I like to, when I interview people, I ask them what does your client base look like? Do you have a Rolodex? Do you have insurance agents that you talk to all the time? Do you have realtors that you talk to, family, friends, and really, as long as you've been in the industry for a long time, or at least for 2 years, you should have a book good.
Right? But I can help you.
Yeah.
And anybody on the team can help. We're all knowledgeable enough to say, hey, if you come to me and you're like, Chanel, I want to be better at this. I'm great doing this, but I want to be better here with realtors. How can we do it? I'm going to say, come with me. Let's go do some networking together. Yeah. Or let's do an event. Or let me introduce you to the realtors that I work with that maybe I can't handle right now. And here, you could take them and you work with them. So let's talk about events. Do you have any events coming up? I do. Well, we actually just had an event. It was our first Galentine's event. Galentine's? Yeah, Galentine's. Sorry, I couldn't invite you. Oh, that's okay. Next year. I was probably out of town anyway. It was last week. Yeah, so what we did was we invited out all of our women realtor partners. We did a private invite. It was a great event. And then we actually, before the event, of course, we opened it up publicly. Okay. Which was nice. Because our men too? No, only women. We only had women. Okay. Yeah, it was Galentine's. You know what's crazy is all these men wanted to come, and I was like, next time, I swear I'll do another one. We had do it maybe at the Daxton where the men could sit at the window on the outside and just stare inside. That would be great. But so we had about 50 women. Wow. Yes, we had a really good turnout. All in the industry? All of them in the all of them in the real estate industry. I had, I think, 2 insurance agents there. Nice. So it was just a mixer. Everyone to just come and have a good time. Not everybody knew me, so everyone can come meet me or meet other team members too. And then what we do have coming up is in March, I am co-chairing on a women's event. It's going to be downtown Detroit. It's called Dare to Be Female. Okay. It's going to be a great event in regard to, the evolving as a woman, right? Yeah. Pushing beyond your limits. Yeah, I know about that. Not holding yourself back anymore. Yep, it's going to be a great event. We have panelists coming in from different companies. We have fireside chats as well. And then... Is it a free event? No, it's not a free event. Okay. Ticket sales are going to be going live, I think, sometime this week. Okay, so they're not live now. Well, so actually, maybe by the time this airs, they will be live. Maybe Correct. We can... Do you know where they can find them or how they can find them? Tickets can be purchased on our website at daretobefemale.com. Okay. They can also be purchased. I think we have an Eventbrite. I'll make sure. Okay. Not sure. No. We'll put the links in the description below. Yeah, appreciate that. Sure. Yeah. So aside from that event, we are also going to be doing a summer event You do a lot of events, actually. I just remembered
I'm an
you have a
event guy.
barbecue. Yeah, you have a barbecue coming up March 1st.
Yeah.
That I'm coming to.
Awesome.
All right, great. So I'm going to pull some of those people to
Yeah.
help me with my events. But
No problem.
we're going to be doing something in June.
Oh, it's not a barbecue. It's a chili cook-off.
Oh, is it a cook-off?
Yeah.
Well, I don't cook, so that's why I just
We'll
noticed
come
food.
sample and be a judge.
Okay. Can I?
Everyone's a judge. Everyone that walks in is going to get a token. You're going to get a token, and when you try that, there'll be crock pots. You try the whatever you want, and then you'll have 3 tokens, and whichever one you like the best, or the 3 that you like the
That's
best,
so cool.
put it in there, or you just put all 3 in one if you want to just vote for the one that
Where is this going to be
at
at?
Zao June,
Okay.
March 1st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Perfect. Yeah, because I got a phone call.
We'll
about
put
it.
some Beyond Lending signs up if you
Aw,
want.
I love that.
Or table tents or whatever you want.
Thanks. I don't know.
Bring business cards, pass them
Yes.
out.
Yeah, so what else did I say I was doing? We're doing something in the summer, and then in October, we're going to do a breast cancer awareness event, too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What about at your massive office? Do you guys have events there?
We do. So normally that's where we host our events.
Okay.
But like this Dare to Be Female event, where it's going to be an event of 350 to 400 people. Yeah, so I can't fit that in my office.
Right.
I wish. But yeah, at our space, we generally do host the realtor mixers. We do a home ownership course there. We'll invite people to realtors to just learn about title and
Is the schedule
whatnot.
posted so where people can people in the industry can kind of come and chat?
No, but that's not a bad idea. Actually, we should start doing that.
Yeah.
We definitely should. So on March 4th,
Okay.
the weekend after your event,
Yep.
I'm doing a
weekend
homeowners.
of.
Yes.
We're on a Wednesday.
Got you. I'm on
Yep.
Saturday.
Yep.
We're doing a home ownership course for the Hispanic community.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the weekend following that, so March 11th, we're doing a home ownership course for anybody.
So cool.
So we're expecting, like for the one for the Hispanic community, we're expecting about 25 people, all first-time home buyers.
Oh, cool.
So it's a good opportunity for realtors if they want to connect with a mortgage company who is actually participating with the communities, right? It's a good way for them to reach out to me, and I can host the events in my office. And then, we train them on what we do. They talk to the homeowners about what they do. And then that's how we build the relationship with the realtor and the clients.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite realtors?
I
I'm not gonna
can't.
put you-
I
I'm
can't.
just kidding.
Oh my
kidding.
gosh.
I was joking.
The ones who bring me business.
That was a joke. I'm kidding. Obviously.
I mean,
you can't.
there's an open spot if anybody wants.
Right. So what about the landscape of the whole, interest rates and the mortgage industry and all that? You want to kind of shed some light on it and kind of give some advice to people that are on the bubble, whether they're going to buy a home, rent a home, what they should be doing.
When I talk to clients about this is such a great question. So when I talk to clients or realtors about this, I like to actually foreshadow COVID, right? Everyone's like, rates were so low. And my answer to that is, yeah, and we were also in a global pandemic, right? So rates are going to be so low.
Yeah.
They have to be because nobody was working. People were out of jobs. What other way could people keep their homes making no money, right? So rates had to be dropped. Now, rates did increase, right, last year. So that we went, I want to say I did a loan in December of 2021 at a 2.875. That was the last time I did a loan that low. And I want to say May, rates shot up to 5.5, right?
Yeah.
So by October, November of last year, rates were in the 7s. And the thing is I don't know when you bought your first home, but back in
When I was 14.
No, in the 90s,
No,
2000s.
was in the 70s.
No,
Yeah.
that's when you were born, silly.
No, I was born in the 60s.
Were you really?
Yeah.
You bought your first home in the 70s?
Kidding.
Oh. Okay, but rates at some point were like 14%, right? So to have a rate right now at 6.5% is actually not that bad.
Right.
Your credit cards are at 18 or at 12 or at 25.
Yeah,
And people will hold $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on credit card debt, but they won't get a house for $300,000, $400,000 at 6.5.
Well, they are. People are.
Well, they
buying.
have to.
People, yeah.
Right. So in our industry, we're a purchase team. it doesn't matter what the rates are, because when people want to buy a house, they're going to get the house, right? When people, also we're in a high equity situation right now, so a lot of homes have a lot of equity.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's like, even if you sell your home, you might come out with like over $100,000 in that house. If you're going to go into another home, you're going to have to spend that money anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Last year, people were overbuying, so they were paying, $50,000 over asking for a low rate. In today's day, if you just buy for what it's listed at and you get today's rate, it literally is maybe like a $20 difference in what you're actually spending. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our advice to people is, don't focus on the rate, focus on what you can afford, right? If you can afford a $2,500 payment every single month, then yes, we might have to scale you back. And instead of getting you a $400,000 house, we might have to stick to something around $250,000. But that doesn't mean that opportunity isn't going to be there for you later.
Yeah.
It's the essence of the time right now. Everything is temporary. And so if you look at these opportunities and you look at them as, whatever happens now, in 5 years, I could flip out of this, or I could go into something bigger, I can grow my family, then we handle it then. But if I could control the rates, I would.
Yeah, of course.
But I tell everybody, if you like the house, just get the house. We just got to make sure it's affordable.
Yeah.
Because you never want to get into a home that you can't afford with the rates as they are. And then in 5 or 6 months, you're like, okay, now I have electric bills, I have all this other stuff, I have cable, and now instead of my payment being $3,000 a month, I'm actually spending $4,000 to live here, and I can't afford this anymore.
Right. But so you deal with $100,000 homes, $200,000 homes, $1 million homes. You deal with it all.
Yeah. So our team is very versed. We've closed loans at $50,000, and we've closed loans at $2.5 million.
Yeah.
So really, it just depends on the client.
So for those out there shopping or thinking that they want to get into a house or sell their house or whatever, why Beyond Lending?
Good question.
Full of them.
There's so why us?
Yeah.
Well, we're here for the entire process. We're a knowledgeable team. We're here for the relationship and the commitment.
Yep.
We don't focus on the dollar amount. Again, whether you're a $60,000 buyer or a $1 million buyer, we treat everybody the same. We really hold that true as well. Like it's what it is. And then the support that we provide, even after you close on that house,
right,
whether it's for the realtor or it's for the home buyer, we're there for you. So we do 6-month follow-ups with everybody. So every 6 months, hey, how are you? How is the house? How are your payments? We know this is a new thing. We know you moved to a new state, or you just moved here from LA,
right,
whatever it may be. Like, what can we do to help you? So it's really, we take it beyond the transaction, right? It's not just going to be, oh, sign here on the dotted line. Congratulations, you have a new house.
Yeah.
We really like to hold your hand. And for me, I treat all my clients like family. Like anyone who calls me, they call me at 8 in the morning. They call me at 10 o'clock at night. They wake me up in my sleep, but I will get up and I will shoot them over the email that they need, or I will handle whatever it is. And that's how my team delivers as well.
And having a relationship with the realtors is probably a big plus too, because they have all the house and knowledge, the adjusters and the inspectors. They have the right ones that they know that they work with, that kind of, now that's part of your service as well, because you have a personal relationship with those.
Absolutely. It's actually very crucial
Yeah.
in especially the industry that we have, where there are so many realtors and there's so many loan officers out there, that a big compliment to me is when a listing agent, so if I'm representing the buyer and I provide them a pre-approval, when the listing agent says, we're accepting this offer because it comes from Beyond Lending.
Yeah.
Because we know Beyond Lending actually services their pre-approvals the right way. They dig deep, they have the right answers. That is something that I really hold true, where we know that it's an easy process. Both sides, both realtors, the seller's side and the buyer's side, know, all right, our lender's good.
Yeah.
At the same time, but when my realtors are providing that same service, then we know that the realtors are really fighting for our clients too.
Yeah.
Right? So should that appraisal come in lower, right? Let's say someone's buying for $250,000, but the appraisal comes in at $230,000. We know that the realtor is going to go fight for our client and not just kind of let that money sit on the table or lose the deal. So it's very crucial, and I do think that having a good lender partner up with realtors and they both have the confidence in each other, it really does set the tone for the transaction, literally from start to closing table. And we attend our closings too, by the way. A lot of people don't.
Nice.
Yeah, so we shake our hands with everybody.
Very, very
Kiss
cool.
babies, shake hands, you know?
Nice. Babies are good to kiss.
Yeah.
So what are some of the absolute no-nos for someone to do while they're shopping for a home? Like, for example, would be like to go out, buy a car or something like that. What are some of those
Great
things that
question.
people should avoid?
When you are out shopping for a home, do not apply for anything.
Yeah.
Don't take money out of your account. Don't deposit large deposits of cash. Everything has to be tracked, right?
Yep.
So paper trail for everything. We stress on, a lot of people want to go get new furniture. They're excited for this house.
Oh.
So, they'll go to Gardner White, they'll go to Restoration Hardware, wherever it is, and they'll get a credit card. And that credit card could literally kill your pre-approval. It could ruin the whole deal.
And you put all the furniture in the garage.
Right. Like, what are you going to do at that point? So I tell everybody, don't go get a Lamborghini.
Right.
Don't get a new car. Don't get furniture. Don't do anything until we sign on that dotted line. And when we sign, then please go ahead, by all means, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the case of like refinancing a car, don't just leave everything as is unless we guide you otherwise.
Right.
What's really unique about Beyond Lending is we have a partnership with a credit repair company. So what we could do is if somebody is, let's say their score is literally on the cusp of a new tier, we're able to get their credit analyzed, tell them what they need to do, for instance, to go from a 688 to a 701. What they can do to do that. As long as they get that done, we can have their credit updated on every aspect, like all 3 credit bureaus, within 5 days. Which gives them in that time frame, it's a whole different loan, right?
Yeah.
When someone's at a 688 and someone's over a 700, you're in a whole different scale. So we could do that as well for people who might be on the fence because they think, oh, well, my credit's not good enough. No problem. Let me take a look at it. Let my credit gurus take a look at it. And we'll tell you what you need to do to either get the dollar amount that you want or to get into the tiering that you want to be at for your payment.
But so, is there a credit score that is not good enough to buy a house?
Great question. So we've been able to work miracles.
Okay.
We've been able to get people into homes where they don't have a credit score, but they just have to have a co-signer who does have a credit score. So essentially, you want to be.
So there's always a way.
There's almost always a way. You have to have some other like supporting factors, right? Like good income to come with that, or money in the bank that has to sit there.
That's
Reserves,
been there.
yes.
Yeah.
So we always find a way. And if for instance, someone is, if they don't have a credit score, or if they're sitting at like a 520, that is a file that I would send over to my credit gurus and ask them, what do we got to do to get them over a 580? Or what do we got to get them to, or what do they have to do to get over a 600? And for that, they'll say, oh, have them go get a secured credit card. And they'll tell us exactly what card, like a First Premier Bank credit card with $500 and keep this much on a balance for 2 months. And then month 3, their score should be updated and we'll be good to go.
Oh, cool.
So sometimes it's a week process. Sometimes it's a 3-month process. Either way, the team is here to literally hold their hand and make sure that we get them into the home that they need.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to present to the our 1.7 billion followers?
Just that we already touched on it, but we are here for the consumer.
Yeah.
And we're growing. So if there is anybody who wants to join our Beyond team, we would love to have a conversation with you and see if, we're a good match.
Very good.
Yeah.
So we close out every show with a question. The question is, what does it mean to you to be Chaldean?
Ooh, you have such good questions. To me, to be Chaldean is, it's about community.
Yeah.
Right? We are in we have such a strong community with, sometimes it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that our community dynamic is amazing. When we all need to come together, whether it's to fundraise for children or for the churches or really anything. I feel like even the things that you do, like the community shows up for it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a very big deal. And the support that I've received from the community is phenomenal. And I love it and I appreciate it. And I welcome it more.
For sure.
Because our community could be great. You know, it's great to be part of.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love to bring people, mind you, also, I love like my friends who are not Chaldean, I love to bring them to like our church or to our events, to our weddings, like anything. And they just sit there and they're like, this is so cool. I'm like, I know. Like, I know, it's really great. The tradition, the culture, and then also just the way that we give. We are such a giving group that it's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? What does it mean to be
about
Chaldean?
me? For me?
Yeah.
It means everything. It means the ability to always feel like I'm home when there's a Chaldean people around. So it could be Detroit, it could be Florida. It could be California, it could be Arizona, it could be New York, it could be anywhere in the world. As long as there's a Chaldean community around, I feel like I'm home.
So let me ask you this. When you travel to, for instance, New York, do you notice Chaldeans there or not?
I run into people that I see and
you know everybody.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Everywhere I go, I see somebody that I know.
Yeah.
It's great.
Sure. I believe it.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for enlightening our audience.
Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me.
Everyone look forward to the Dare to Be Female event.
Yes.
Actually, we'll be airing that Dare to Be Female podcast with Keeping Up with the Chaldeans right after this episode.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you all.